Hello, my sewing friends. I'm here with my May makes, knowing full well it is way into June, but I wanted to make sure that I got video and pictures from the people for whom I made things in May before I showed them to you. And so, yeah, that's why I'm this late in getting this out to you. I wish you could be here right now and smell these flowers. They were given to my daughter Mia for her birthday on June the 13th. My birthday was June the 16th. It was a huge birthday. I turned 60, and although I guess I'm a senior citizen now, I don't feel like one. I hope I don't look like one, but you know, it is what it is. The wrinkles and age thing marching across your face, it is real. Mia was my birthday present one year, and so she has a friend who sent her these flowers and some balloons and other things, and so they are starting to be at the end of their life, and so they still smell good. It's some lilies and roses. So anyway, really pretty things. Not the one who's married and lives in Alaska. I didn't have her here, but they all came for my birthday and for Father's Day, because my birthday and Father's Day were the same day. So it was nice having everybody here. But they did take over my sewing room as a guest room. So the last one left today, and I'm like, yes! It was everything I could do not to say, get out, go sleep somewhere else so I can get in there and sew. So yeah, anyway, they all left today, or well, the last one left today. They've been kind of trickling out. And so anyway, flowers, can't sew, late getting to you, yeah, all of that. Also, my lighting is going to be all over the place because I love filming out here on my lanai, and there are also crazy bugs making crazy noises. So, okay, now that's all of the housekeeping. Okay, let's get to the makes, the really fun stuff. Okay, I'll start off with what I'm wearing. I did make this in April, so it is not officially a make, but I didn't like it. It is a Laura Ashley pattern, McCalls 7627. Didn't have enough fabric for the dress, so I made the top, and I made it with sleeves, and I hated the sleeves. I just thought it did not look good with the sleeves. So I took them off. I just used some bias tape to do a binding, left them right where they were because I checked on the pattern, and this is where the sleeves fall in the sleeveless version of the pattern, which they showed the dress in sleeveless. And anyway, so I just took them off. I like it a lot better. I can wear this now because it is stifling hot here. Yeah. High of 96 today. Actually, it is right now 96 degrees. Real feel of 103. Woo, that's hot. Okay, so let me get through this. That's the first thing I want to tell you about is this. I really do like it. It ended up a lot better. Snaps help. And okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing I will start with is actually three things, and I made these for McKenna to take on her trip to Europe with her husband Ryan. Whirlwind trip, beautiful trip, lots of stories and pictures, and so I sent her three dresses, and I will start with this one. This is New Look 6602. I knew this was a tried and true pattern, and I used some fabric I had in my stash, and I have no idea where I got it, but it was not expensive fabric, and to be honest, McKenna was not thrilled with this dress. I made view A, which is that one, and I used fold over elastic on the neckline rather than doing, I think they have a facing. And also this dress, you can tell on one of the shoulders it has a button closure. I didn't even bother. I just used, sewed it up like a regular shoulder seam. So this essentially is a shift dress, and she was not thrilled with it, primarily because of the fabric, I think. But yeah, it kind of looks like a nightgown on her. I hate to say that, but it was not something that she took with her on her trip, I can tell you that. She did say that she didn't like it all that much. She was very kind about the way she said it, and so I said, hey, just send it back to me and I will wear it, because I will. I absolutely will. I had previously, when I made this, lined the sleeves, and so I did the same thing here rather than having to stitch a hem, because as I did I say this before? Knits are and me don't always get along because they do what they want to do instead of what I want them to do, which is why I like to sew with woven so much more. But anyway, so that was New Look 6602. Let me also just kind of throw in here that I made also a dress for another one of my daughters who is very much a model, loves the spotlight, and McKenna is not so much that way, which is why her videos that she sent me were kind of like, okay, here's the dress, and that's it. Okay, moving on. McCall 7574 is a dress that I got. I love this. I love the look of it with the tennis shoes, and so I had gotten it for me, and I thought, okay, I was going through Joann's getting the fold-over elastic for this, and I went past all the novelty kid knits, and McKenna is a geologist by education, but she is also getting a master's degree, and so there's a little bit of anthropology thrown in there and paleontology, and I saw this print with dinosaurs, and I thought she will think that that is hilarious. So I went ahead and got it. It's a stable knit, which I like. So this turned out pretty cute on her. I did make a few changes. I do think that when you put the sleeves on this, this is a raglan sleeve, if you can see the line drawing. You kind of have to pay attention to where it's going. And also, when I got the sleeve done, it kind of almost looked like it had shoulder pads. The curve on the sleeve was a little too boxy, a little too cornered off. So I went back in and I rounded it off, which really helped. And I did curve it in a little bit on the sides just to give it a little more shape for her. But it turned out really cute and she really likes it. She has to have pockets in everything, has to. So she loved the pockets, and I think it's a cute dress that she'll kick around in this summer. So that was McCall 7574. And the last one was a bit of a story, which I told you about in April, Simplicity 2362. This is out of print. So I made this view, which is view C, I believe. It's a maxi dress. I used fabric I had in my stash, and I just wanted her to have something she could take with her to Europe that would be a little dressier in case they wanted to go out to dinner. So I got it done. I tried it on. I am a little bit longer from my shoulder to my apex than she is. Of course, she's 30 years younger, so of course. So when I tried it on, I didn't like where that seam was hitting me because it was hitting me about right here. And I thought, that's way too high. Well, I should have remembered that she has a far less shoulder to apex measurement than I do, probably a good inch. So I recut the bodice, added an inch to the bottom, thinking, well, even if it is a little bit long on her, it will fit her better. Also, I made a little bit of adjustments to the top because the way this goes across the top, it's gathered here in the center, and I wasn't happy with the way it gapped a little bit. So I ended up pulling a little bit of that fullness out so it would lay flatter, and the end result was beautiful. I think she looks so good in this dress. The color is great on her. She loves the pockets. They're cut down low out of a pleat into the skirt, which worked great. It was really easy to do. She said it fits her funny, and that's because I cut that bodice down a little bit lower. So what I told her was just because she's in Alaska and I'm in Florida, literal opposite ends of the continent. I said, hey, just take the straps in the back and fold them under a little bit, and then you can just pin them, and that will pull it up enough to where it will probably fit you a little better. So she was happy with that. I think she looks great in it. And so that was Simplicity 2362. Now my Jenna Benna. Jenna, well, McKenna is the oldest. Jenna is number 4, and every time I make a vintage looking dress, she's like, I want 10 of them. I want 5 of them. I want them in every color. So I had Simplicity 8085 for some time, thinking I would make it for her. This is a cute little wrap dress. It wraps right here, and the bows that you see are made out of the bias tape that you use to finish off kind of, the rest of the dress. I made view A, which is this one, but that view calls for a self-fabric belt, and instead of that, I used the ties, the wrap ties that went along with view B, which you can kind of see right there. So I just used, I didn't use bias tape, which I could have. I just went ahead and made a sash for it, essentially cut up, the ties. So on this one, the one thing I did do differently, it called for snaps right here where it closes, and instead I used Velcro because I thought it's just going to be easier. It's going to be easier to sew on. The placement's going to be easier. The adjusting of it, because she wasn't here when I sewed this for her, that would be a little bit easier. And I didn't have to do anything at the waist to close it because I put the ties on, so the wrap ties. So this was easy to do. Initially, I got the fabric at Hobby Lobby. I got a really cute flamingo print, which I loved, and I washed it and it bled. I couldn't believe it. So I took it back and picked out a different flamingo fabric, which I'm not as happy with, but only because I had the other one. To be honest, if I had left the other fabric alone, it probably would have been fine. It would have looked like the fabric was supposed to be that way, but as it was, I thought, no, I really want fabric that's not going to bleed again in the wash or anything like that. So anyway, really made up cute. My only concern with this was that she would think those pockets were huge because they really are so big. I did put the pockets on. Even though in view A it does not show pockets, I put the pockets from here on, and they are literally probably 8 by 10 inches. They're huge. So she thought they were a little big. She said, well, you might want to make them a little smaller. So I have since taken them off the dress, and I would have altered that while she was here, but they were all in the sewing room and sleeping, so I thought, nah, I'll just do that later. So I have those taken off. I'm gonna downsize them markedly and send her the dress. I probably could go ahead and just leave the pockets off, but pockets are nice. They're nice to have, and she liked them. So that again was Simplicity 8085. Lastly, I made Simplicity 8910 for me. This is one of their new patterns from, I think, the spring collection. The thing I liked about it is that it's high in the front, and then it goes, low in the back with pleats. I did add a little bit to the bodice because, again, that fitting thing with me. My problem with this was that I just thought, I'm not going to mess around with doing a bias trim on the bodice because I used a poly crepe, Desheen, kind of a poly-ish woven, I don't know, that I found at Hobby Lobby. Very pretty, flowy fabric, perfect for a maxi. But I didn't think that the neckline could hold a bias tape finish, which I should have known better, but I went ahead and lined it. That was fine. I did use a self-bias binding on the armholes, and then I noticed that, I don't know why it is, I keep having this problem. The neckline was rolling to the outside. I thought, what in the world? I have understitched, I've done everything I can do. So I went back in, made more bias binding, and did another binding. Now, the binding I did was the kind where you don't roll the entire thing to the inside, and that's probably would have solved that problem. Instead, I made it so that you see the binding. But, that over top of the lining, at least it had a little more weight to hold it up a little better. So in the end, I just thought, I'm not going to fuss with this anymore. This is stupid. I'm just going to leave it. So I love this dress. I feel so elegant in it. It's such a pretty dress. Love the pockets. Love the pleating in the front and in the back. I think it's really flattering without looking too maternity-ish. So yeah, it was easy to sew, and I think even a beginner could easily pull this one off. So again, that was Simplicity 8910. And that was my May. If you've made any of these things, link me up with your Instagram. I would love to see them. And yeah, or your video that you've done. I love seeing what other people have done, what their take on something is. I love that. I get so much inspiration from YouTube. So I guess that's it for now from me. I'll be back with June Makes. Already some things in the works. So I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.